So now, what are the roots of this crisis? At the heart of it is the modern doctrine of the consumer. Now, what's interesting to me is that the consumer in Old English meant the devil. He was called the consumer because he consumed the souls of people. And consumption was a name for the wasting disease in the 19th century. It's what killed people slowly. And so this whole idea of, I shop, therefore I am, shop until you drop, the one with the most toys at the end wins. This idea of just shopping, this was actually done to us. And I would recommend people reading William Leach, The Land of Desire, because he takes a period about from the 1890s till the 1930s and shows how our society was turned into a consumer society. It was conscious. It was done because they could produce a large number of goods and they wanted people to buy those goods. So we have to understand that this was something that was done to us, that people were not always consumers, that I've lived in cultures where they recycle everything because it's just simply, that's what they do. When I lived with the Bedouin, they use everything. Literally, they don't throw away anything. And now they're starting to get these throwaway items. And so you're seeing garbage everywhere now in the Sahara. Just plastics. In fact, Mauritania, and I'm proud to say this because I'm an honorary consul of Mauritania, but Mauritania outlawed plastic bags. It's a 1-year prison sentence to use plastic bags. And the reason that they did that is because so many of the goats, the livestock that they depend on, were dying, and they didn't know why until they found out they were eating the plastic bags out in the desert, and they were getting these intestinal diseases and dying from intestinal obstruction. And so the government outlawed the use of plastics. And again, this is where a government makes a choice and does something. So, in the 1530s, consumer was one who squanders or wastes. So it had a negative connotation. The Quran says that people boast, I have squandered great wealth. And this is conspicuous consumption. World War II was a great era of recycling. People were recycling everything. And, if you go to third world countries, people wear sandals made out of used tires because it's a really good heel. A sole for the shoe, and so these are the things where we need to get creative in our communities and not, so many of our communities in the inner cities, they can go and get. It's easier to get liquor than it is to get food, and it's much easier to get. You can't get vegetables in a lot of these inner city stores. It's all processed food. They get corn out of the can, and so that movement I think is a really important movement that's starting to take place. We cannot, if the average earthling lives like the average American, we will need 3 Earths to supply the consumption. It's impossible. It's untenable. It can't go on.